Hi everyone. We will be starting soon as soon the participants arrive. We will just wait till 33 more, nothing more than that. All right. I hope that's okay for everyone. Okay, superb. As promised, 33 it is. Again and again, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Build an AI for India Hackathon. And I'm thrilled to have you here for this hackathon session. Actually, tonight we are joined by Aashi Dutt. She is senior technical content developer at Mem0, who will walk us through how to add persistent memory to AI agents. This is going to be a game changer session for you all, and for anyone who is building smarter, mobile, reliable, and truly context aware AI. And to be honest, AI is something that is that can hallucinate and that needs some real info, right? So that's why we are here to actually interact with the session. And let me just walk you through the agenda super quick. First, we will start with why AI agents need memory, um, what stateless LLMs miss, and how persistent memory changes the game. And then Aashi will take us inside Mem0, how it works, and everything about Mem0. And then we will move into building smarter agents like retrieval, context management, personalization, and all. And after that, we will look into something that is very, very important, which is Mem0. Its workflows, APIs to frameworks, and this session, of course, this part of the session.
Nandini, just want to interrupt here. It's Mem0.
Okay, so it's my bad. It's Mem0. Okay. I hope it's fine for Ashi.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, okay. Mem0, and this part of the session will be very, very helpful for you all because you have to eventually implement Mem0 in your project. And then we will be having a real world use case from, Copilot you have been using to something sort of implementing in our project. And then finally, Ashi will share advice for hackathon participants. And of course, we will be having Q&A in the end. So please and please don't try to spam the chat. Just make your question relevant to the session and make your question as much as productive as you can. And try to keep your mic and camera close. Thank you. I will hand over to Ashi now.
Sure. Thank you so much, Nandini, for having me today. Hope my voice is clear. Let me just turn off the camera so you get a better bandwidth. And let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yep, it's visible.
Cool. So, hi everyone. I hope you are having a good time at hackathon, and it's already Friday evening, so I think you have your own plans. You're ready to start building some things, and you have some ideas in your mind about how you want to go about this hackathon, build something that is useful, use case driven, and practical. So let me just share my slideshow real quick. Cool. Just move this side. So let me just formally introduce myself first. My name is Aashi and I lead the content team at Mem0. So if you are not much aware about Mem0 or memory in general, so it's more about why we require memory for our AI agents. So let me just, before I dig bit deeper into it, can you guys give me like a thumbs up or some kind of impressions? Like, have you heard about Mem0 or have you used agents in general, like ChatGPT, Claude, these kinds of things? Okay. I see a lot of thumbs up. So yeah, I think most of you already know about ChatGPT and you have actively used an AI agent or have built one. So today, we'll be talking about why an AI agent requires memory and how memory can be useful for an AI agent in the long run. So we'll be exploring what a memory is, how it works, and why it matters in production, especially when it comes to building certain products or building certain agents that scale at large, right? Uh, yeah. So agents are stateless. By default, agents don't have any kind of memory and they are stateless in their own. So if any or any type of context that any agent has, it's basically what prompt you have already given it, right? Any data that you attach with it, any kind of thing that you're passing as a prompt, maybe a video, image, text, any kind of data, that is just the thing an agent has, right? So what memory does is memory kind of compounds it. An LLM only knows the prompt, but memory knows what you have shared with it in the past. It retains that and it recalls it across the sessions as well. So, for example, you all have learned the table of five, say, right? You have retained it and you have recalled it because you have human memory. You are not mere agents, you are agents with memory, to be saying in a computer language, right? But these are further divided into two dimensions. First is the duration, and second is the content. So, duration, if you are well versed with memory in general, like RAM, for example, you know there the memory is divided into two sections further, right? Memory can be a short-term memory and a long-term memory, right? Short-term, say you just typed something and like 5 minutes ago, that is short-term. It's still in the context window in the same session. Long-term is something that persists across the sessions. So maybe you talk to your agent something about something, and then across the session, it remembers that. You closed it, you came back the next day, and it still remembers that. That's long-term memory, right? Then is the content. So the content specifically in the memory domain has three parts. First is the episodic, that is what happened, like very happen driven, like happening driven. Then is the semantic, that is what is known, what you know, like semantic search or semantic similarity you might have heard about. And the third is procedural, like how it's done, like step by step processes, right? Like how we do nowadays when it.
Ashi, actually, sorry to interrupt you, but I just want to request you that if you could open your camera, because it's actually more convincing and more friendly if you do that.
Yeah, I would love to. Let me just turn on my camera. I was just saving on bandwidth because recently I was just having a meeting before, and yeah, the connection was not very stable, so that's why. But no worries. Let's just continue like this. Yeah. And like the final one is the procedural, like how it's done. If you're well familiar with how we work with agents nowadays, is we push them into planning mode, like step-by-step mode, rather than just, going directly, like putting everything in one context window, right? And then the structure. Structure is how it is saved. So it's either saved as a vector, like where you can find what you saved via similarity, like, okay, ball looks like a circular cylinder or circular shape, and you can find a ball, that's similarity, or using a graph, like relations. Say, for example, X is known to Y is known to Z, so X knows Z, right? You can use the relationships there. And usually we use both of these together, vectors as well as graphs, when we save memories in Mem0. So Mem0 in short is long-term memory with all types of contents, that is episodic, semantic, and procedural. And then we use both vector search and graph, like knowledge graphs, so we can say save and store that particular memory of yours. Next is how it works. So I feel most of you already know about how memory works, right? What's the basic principle of memory? You want to write into memory and you want to read from the memory, right? But here are 3 jobs that we do, either if you're using a service like Mem0 or you're building your own memory, right? You extract, you store, and you retrieve. So store and retrieve are the 2 parts that we already do, like read and write, right? But extract is a special part that we do at Mem0 using an LLM, so that we don't really keep all of the memory. So think about it. Like you have like 1,000 or a 10,000 page book, right? You don't really want to put everything into your context window. That will eat up your context window tokens like anything, right? What you actually know or want is that you want to save as much information that is only required or is necessary. The rest you don't want it. You don't want what the author name is. Maybe you don't want the abstraction, the extra details, what was written on the cover, everything and everything, right? That is just extra information for you. So what we do is, for the write, we take raw conversation. The LLM extracts or distills facts from it. That is the extraction path. And then it appends. So what our latest algorithm does is, it does not overwrite. It adds, it only appends. So think about it. You have, say, a V1 version and you have a V2 version. And if you are just trying to overwrite the V1 version with V2 version, there can be a possibility that maybe in later time, you want some information that was required already existing in the V1, and that was actually overwritten by V2, right? There is a possibility. So we just append, we don't overwrite. Of course, you can overwrite after like a certain point of time when the conversation adds on into and it piles up, but for the time's sake, you do not. Then we link them. Link as in we link through entity and we link through timestamps. So what happens is, for every memory that you add, there is a certain entity to it, like say an ID. All of you, if you are in your students, you have an ID, right? You have a roll number, that's your ID, or a special ID that colleges give, right? That's your entity. Plus a timestamp of when that memory was given in, so that we can keep a track of when the memory came in, when it came out, which memory came first, which memory came next. Then is the read, that is the recall. Of course, you have added the memory. Of course, you might need it next, right? Why else would you just keep a memory there? So to read the memory, you recall it. You query like a normal prompt. And then what we do is we search. So we vector search and we do a search based on the keyword as well. And then using both the information that we get back, we rank them on the basis of which one topped, and then we give it back and inject in your prompt silently. So what happens here is that now you are not passing the whole 10,000 page book. Instead, you're just passing a little information or a very little say a fact that was required in your prompt. What it helps with, it saves your context window and it saves your tokens. And if any one of you is very, very active on Twitter, or now it's called X, you might know tokens are the new commodity. They are very, very costly nowadays. So the main aim of using a Mem0 along with this is also to save on tokens. You save on tokens, you save on your time as well. Next is at production scale, what happens. So for us, if you are a company or an individual, the paths are different, but what you actually want at the end of it, the end result is kind of the same. Even if you are building like a project, like you'll be doing in a hackathon, or you're building at scale for your company or production, right? So memories have to win on all these three at a time. First is accuracy. If you are, say, an AI student, you know accuracy is not a real metric, right? We don't really judge our models based on accuracy. We, of course, can get like 100%, like 99% accuracy and still be like, okay, this model is overfitting, right? So accuracy is just the thing that how good you can recall, how good the memory is able to recall and get the right kind of facts that the user requires. And for this, there are certain benchmarks. There is Locomo, there is a long mem eval. We are currently the leaders at long mem eval. We are leaders at Beam for 1 million and 10 million per token ones. And these are all scored by LLMs as judge. So there is no human involved as such, right? Then is latency. So again, it comes back to the thing that if I want to add my information or I want to get back my information, I don't want latency. I want the lowest latency possible. I want my data to be retrieved in milliseconds and to be added in milliseconds or seconds, right? So latency, it runs on every single turn. So it's the fastest load ever. We recently dropped using PG Vector to turbo buffer, and we reduced from about 8 seconds to 180 milliseconds. That is the drop that we saw recently. Then, of course, is the tokens. I've already told you, token is the game. So if your context you spend is like, if you're spending 7K tokens versus you're spending 25K tokens on your context window, right? It is, of course, it all comes back to the amount you'll be spending on because your tokens are costly. Mem0 saves you at that. But the overall aim of the slide is basically when you are going or pushing your agent into production, it is very much important at scale that all these three things should come in a line together. That is, accuracy is alone a trap, but you want accuracy with least latency and least token counts. Do everyone agree with me on this? Just give me a thumbs up. Do we want latency? No, we don't want latency, of course. But do we want accuracy? Of course, we want accuracy. We want good accuracy, we want least latency, and we want to use least of the tokens. That is just the thing the Mem0 holds up to. Right? So I have prepared a very small demo for you to show you on and off memory. The code is very simple, and I think you can crack the code very easily. It's just UI and like 4 lines of code. I will show you the 4 lines of code first, and yeah, you can implement it on your own. You have ample amount of codecs, you have like all the resources and agents. You really don't want me to, spend time showcasing what the code is about. Let me just go back. Yeah, so this is our main page. We are backed by Y Combinator, and it's just a drop-in thing. If you are someone you like to play along with API keys, this is just like a 4-line thing. So you basically install using pip, install Mem0 AI. You import OS, you import Mem0 memory client. Then you pass in your API key using environment variable if you have one. It's very good if you have an environment variable, or if you are a beginner, make sure that you save your secret tokens as environment variables rather than just adding them directly into code. It's a good practice to keep them as an environment variable and not push it to your GitHubs. Do not push it to your GitHubs anytime. Then add in memory, these are the messages. Maybe you want to add, say, hey, I am a vegetarian and I'm allergic to nuts. And Mem0 is gonna remember that because that's a fact. The fact here is that you are a vegetarian and you're allergic to nuts. The next time, if your agent asks you, say for example, you say, hey, give me an idea. I'm hungry, I want to eat something. Next time, this particular preference would be added to your agent so that it knows your preference beforehand. That is the main aim of having a memory with agents. Even if it's like coding agent, it should know. And if you have added like a preference that, hey, my preference is that before every function that you write, just write down what that function aim is. Give it like a 2-line comment. That is your preference. You prefer to write in Python. That's your preference. Your memory extracts that particular fact and it pushes it back or injects it back to your context window so that when your agent runs the next time, it remembers it. So you're not the one going back and forth and telling your agent that, hey, this is good. You wrote my code in C, but okay, I don't like C. C is very slow. I want to write in Python, like that way. Then you write the code, you write the messages, then you add it simply like client.add, pass in the messages, pass in the user ID. You can do it yourself. You can give your user ID yourself, or Mem0 will allocate for yourself. And then you want to search for your results. So you say client.search, and then you search what are my dietary restrictions and simply pass in the user ID if you have one. If not, it will do it itself, and then you print results. Simply that's it. Like simple for Python length of code. Of course, if you are interested in more, we have some plugins. We have Claude Code plugin as well. We have some OSS version as well if you want to try it like free of cost. But I feel that API version is the much better one because it gives you access to a dashboard. You can look more easily when your memory is getting added, what is being searched. You can have a better look at it. So here is a very simple Streamlit application that I built, and I hope it gives you a very clear meaning what I mean when I mean adding a memory, when I mean without a memory, right? So right now it's just like memory is on. We have the memory, so let's just give it a try. Let me say, hi, I am visiting SF in SF next month, and I have a dog. I am allergic to dairy and peanuts, maybe. Though I love peanuts, but okay. Right. Cool. See. There is a new addition to our facts. The username is visiting. Of course, it's wrong, but I have not given my name, so it can assume. But this is right. Like user is allergic to dairy and peanuts. That's right, right? Let's just say something else. I am a vegetarian and I like coffee. Let's just add these as well. So we have like a couple of facts that are added, right? So it initially didn't have any record of my dietary preferences, but it says that it will keep in mind, right? It will keep in mind that I like I am a vegetarian. I like coffee. I'm allergic to dairy and peanuts as well. Okay, though I'm not any of these, but yeah, let's assume. So I'm a vegetarian is the newest one. It's added that. Now let me just start a new session and let's keep these memories as such. Okay, and so these are like has a dog, likes coffee, it's a vegetarian, allergic to dairy, peanuts, and all. Now let me say, hey, I am in SF and I am hungry. Suggest me a place for a quick bite. Let's see what it suggests me, right? And if it follows my preferences or not. So since you're in San Francisco and have a dairy, peanut allergy plus vegetarian preferences, I recommend checking out the Ferry Building Marketplace. It has food vendors. You can look for vegetarian options that don't contain dairy. Plus, it's a dog-friendly space with outdoor seating. So it has all my preferences uploaded in, and I didn't have to pass it like multiple times, right? It already has. So this is with memory on. Let's just try with memory off. Like, let me just take this as such. Oh, we don't want to clear the cache right now. Let's just turn off the memory. And yes, this is a new session. Memory is off. Let me just pass it this and see what it suggests. Cool. So now it's giving me multiple things that you can use, go for a burger joint. You can go for, say, chocolates, Mediterranean plates, which is mostly your non-vegetarian dishes, Machu Picchu's and everything. But of course, that is not, it's asking me if I have a dietary preferences or allergies. So that is another wastage of my tokens because I have to now give it more information about my allergies, about my dietary preferences, and that takes away more of my tokens and my time as well. So I don't want to go through and fro in this scenario, right? So yeah, I think that is you can write the memory as such. Yeah, that's it. Let me show it how it shows on your Mem0 dashboard. So this is my dashboard currently. Let me just give it a refresh. Right. So yeah, that's 2 minutes ago, right? 2 minutes ago, we did this. We did a search. We did get all the information we did. Then we added some information that's in the add type. Then we got the information back. So that's the get all. So that's the latency in milliseconds. Sometimes it's in seconds, depends upon your information. The adds one usually take more time because you're giving it more information, but the get all is usually more faster ones. And it shows your status as well. And of course, the events. So which events were actually hosted here? Retrieved memories. Let me just shift this. Yeah. These are the retrieved memories. Assistant offered to help the user find coffee options once the user provides a location and all sorts of things, right? Going back to my final slide. So I really wanted to keep it very short because there is not much code to it and there is not much that you need to be very careful about. It's super easy to add in memory given that Mem0 gives you like multiple options, especially through APIs and stuff. But I feel that if you are somebody who is building some kind of agent or some kind of project that you think requires memory, and it would be a really use case. So let me give you some use cases as well before I conclude. One of the use case can be healthcare. So maybe you are building some kind of, say, a therapist, right? You go to multiple therapists. If a person is going to a therapist, there is a chance that the therapy won't end in like 1 or 2 settings, right? There is a long sessions that go on. Even if it's like 5 sessions, if you say, for example, those 5 sessions might take about an hour or 2 hour sessions. Who knows, right? And that is a lot of data. If I'm a therapist, I'm recording your data, maybe written or maybe oral, it is a lot of data. And if I have like an agent to help me along with it, there can be chances that, okay, after that therapist is done with it and it gives every data to that specific agent, there are 2 chances. One is that certain data, the agent might just leave it like that because it's not fact for him, for that particular agent. There might be another thing. You know how our agents often compress our context windows because they need to fit in more data there, right? The compression takes place. And it happens most of the time that some of the crucial information often gets lost when the compression happens. But when it comes to critical use cases like healthcare, you don't really want to do that. There can be critical things like patient tells about themselves, what they felt and everything. So there are certain chances that those things might get lost, and there is where these kinds of specific memory cases come into play. Then is edtech. Every student learns differently. Every student has special requirements. Maybe somebody is good at math, somebody doesn't know how to code, right? You can use in coding agents, you can use to teach students, or teachers can even use that to analyze how the students are learning. It will keep a track of each student under each username or user ID, so teachers can maintain that. Then there is fintech. There is a number of use cases that you can build around memory. These are just a few of them, but there are like a plethora of them. Look for companies that are actually, using these kinds of products or have certain use cases. For me, I feel that healthcare and edtech are two of the brilliant use cases. But of course, you are in the hackathon and you guys are building these kinds of stuff. So I think you are the best judge for this one. But going forward, what's next for the memory? What next is that we are going to be more portable and personal memory or of our own. Having preferences and personal memory really helps. Multiplayer memory for teams. So what happens at organization level is that the content is not shared that briefly because the size of the teams are very big. So what happens is, say for example, team A found a bug in some code on GitHub, but team C is actually going to use that particular code for themselves, but they didn't deliver the same information to team C that there is a bug in the code, right? The information is lost. But if you have like a shared memory, if you have a shared space where they are sharing information themselves, so next time the agent of team C is gonna approach to that particular GitHub repo, it already knows from the experiences of team A that there exists a bug. That's again a use case for you. Then temporal reasoning and temporal and reasoning aware recall. There are certain algorithms that goes into play when you recall your information. Then memory first is the first class information. So right now memory is the moat. Agents need memory because they cannot recall over the sessions. You can say that, okay, ma'am, you're saying that agents can recall, agents have their own memory, Claude has this memory, but for how long? That memory needs to be sustainable, needs to be persistent across the sessions. It can be possible if I am running a session, I have passed in some kind of context to Claude, I'm running next session maybe after like 15 minutes. It has the context, it has context sharing, and it has memory. But what if the session is 80th? What then? By 80th session, the context would be so compressed, there are high chances and high probability that the preferences that you shared earlier is already compressed or lost. So what will you do that? That is another choice. So yeah, that's all from my side. I hope you had a very brief introduction to Mem0. You now know what memory is, why we need memory for for our agents, and how you can use. I've given you like a good amount of use cases that you can build in your hackathon. Just give it a all, just drop it everywhere. And yeah, this is the QR code for you, so you can add in memory. It's free of cost, like free tier for early starters. You just need to scan this and log in, and you can access free memory for yourself. For the API key, you no need to pay anything. And I think for your projects itself, it's absolutely free. You have enough credits that you can work on that, right? I saw some question. Let me just stop sharing so I can see the question. Okay. Does Mem0 automatically decides what information is worth remembering? Yes, we use LLMs to decide what kind of information is worthy of keeping, like what is exactly fact. I've already shown you this on my like on the demo. I showed you that how we are just extracting the facts. User is vegetarian, user likes coffee, user has dietary restrictions, doesn't allergies for peanuts. Yeah, we use a LLM for that. I have a question about, as a tech expert and engineer, can you share experience in the field? And also, like, I use BRC to make vibe coding platform less hallucination. Can you share how Mem0 help us in like vibe coding and ID platforms of AI? So yeah, so these are two like different things. So I can help you with the hallucination part. So our models usually hallucinate when they lack information. So if you are using some kind of memory to back it up, like injecting the right kind of information to it, the hallucination can be reduced to multiple folds. Of course, the vibe coding and ID platforms are separate to that. You should be using your agents to build those kinds of platforms and vibe coding for that. But you can back it up with memory to, have the right kind of memories, and maybe the MD files, the rules files, so that your LLMs do not hallucinate that much, right? So every time you're not passing a lot of information there, you're saving on context, but your memory is there to help you out, to make sure that your LLM does not hallucinate. It knows that, okay, these are the rules. You have to follow these kinds of rules, right? It does that every time. Is there a built-in way to delete? Oh, wait. Is there a built-in way to delete or expire memories after certain period, especially for temporary information? Yeah, you have a deletion. I just deleted, like just wiped it off. There is a function for deletion as well. And does Mem0 decide which memories are most relevant for a query? Can we influence the retrieval process? So right now you cannot influence the retrieval process because we're using LLM for that. But yeah, we use an LLM to use that. How Mem0 different from super memory, and what are the Mem0's biggest advantage for AI agents? So super memory is kind of our, what we call the rival at the point. But I think our biggest advantages at this point is that we are the oldest players in this game, and we have cracked the the three trio that I showed you: accuracy, least latency, and that there was one more. What was that? There was accuracy, latency, and tokens as well. So I think we have cracked it much better than super memory. They're doing really good job as well on that. And I see a lot many memory companies doing the same. But I feel that when it comes to competition, or when it comes to, these three things, I think Mem0 is doing really, really well, and really like the highest top tier in terms of numbers of that. Okay, do we have more questions? To be very honest, I have not researched that much about Kongi, but I've seen certain comparisons. Yeah, you can use Mem0 with any LM, but their initial the distillation LM that cannot be hindered. You can use it with any model. Yeah. So can you guys just drop what kind of projects you are just thinking of building, like a one-liner? What are you aiming, or maybe you can maybe unmute yourself and tell me what kind of projects you are thinking of making with memory. Like, why do you think you require memory in your project? Anyone?
Yeah, if anyone need guidance regarding their project, because I think Mem0 is very, very suitable. So please feel free to open your mic and just ask the questions as per your need. Or if you are shy, then chat is all.
I can drop my okay, I don't have my LinkedIn over here. I think let me
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Hello, good evening, ma'am.
good evening.
Ma'am, we are building one project named Campus OS, which is helpful for students, faculty members, and all admin panel. That students are scattered nowadays on various groups, WhatsApp groups, classrooms, and anywhere. They didn't get the information at one time. Basically, the motive of our project is this. So we implement one chatbot in that, and I implement Mem0 in that. So after implementing, when student log in every time, then it get fresh conversion. So it recalled memory, but every time when it start, then it's behave like the first conversion. So what can I do for this?
How does it starts every time and it looks like fresh? Like I didn't get that part.
Ma'am, when we log in every time, then it starts with hello, what can I help you?
Yeah.
So I want the previous conversion details in it, like timeline or what.
Okay. So have you tried like running like a small prompt like hey, do you know what we were talking about last time or something like that? Because if that whole conversation is
Yes,
already yeah, go on.
yes, ma'am. It's all, but but timeline is not is automatically deleting.
I think then the injection part is not happening properly. There needs to be the get function needs to get the right information. And I think having the whole conversation that you've already had in the existing, if it's a chatbot, having the whole conversation in a existing one doesn't make any sense, because chatbot by default means that you need some help, you ask it a question and it replies to you. So it should be more like that. You just say, hey, you remember what we talked last time, something like that. Okay. Oh, wait, I am making something. Guys, I think we are short of time. If you have something more, let me just share my LinkedIn with you first. You can reach out to me here.
Okay, Karthik, if you can just unmute yourself, because it will be better for you to speak and for Aashi to get the answer for your question.
Yeah. Good evening, ma'am. Like I am making an interview mentor, you can say AI interview mentor, which is used for practicing the interview before interview sessions. And like some people's are like they are um their skills are 10 on 10, but their communication skills are like very, you can say, very poor or very not good. So I'm making it for them using the voice APIs, and I need the Mem0 memory in it, like what the mistakes the user have made previously. So it can tell the users like you have made this mistake before, you have do not have to repeat that like thing. So how can I integrate in that? Can you tell me, like, I have already facing some issues with voice APIs, so I can fit it directly.
Sure. So I won't give you the answer right away because then you won't be learning anything. But I think that's the right kind of use case to have something like a mentor that would help, and that's the right use case for edtech as well. I think you're trying to do what you're trying to do is you're kind of trying to have like two things at a time. I think if you want to start building on that, start with the text first because it's much easier compared to the voice ones. And then once you've cracked the text one, like, having something like question answer chatbot kind of thing, mentor asks some, like you ask some question and the user replies, something of that sort. And once you've cracked that, then you kind of go to the voice one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am. It's a text model and the chatting model is working perfectly.
Okay.
And its memory retrieval is also good. But when we come to voice, it cannot retrieve the back. You can say back memory as well, like more than 2 days almost when it comes to voice. And I am facing also the trouble with the voice API, and I can fix it. But I have to use Mem0 in it. So can the voice also can be retrieved from the past data?
Right now, no. The voice cannot be directly. So you have to convert voice. You have to convert
Yeah,
voice.
yeah,
into
ma'am.
transcript.
I have TTS and STT model
Yes,
both
yes,
APIs.
exactly. You have to convert voice into like a text, and then you can do retrieval. But
Yes, ma'am.
what you're talking about, I recently worked on the same thing, and if you look at the same use case on Mem0 blogs, you'll find the answer there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
There is existing same use case existing over there.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
We'll take this as the last question.
Yeah.
Hi, Archana. So please ask here. Yeah, please unmute yourself and ask.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, we are actually using an AI-guided sandbox to qualify workers via microtasks. We are thinking about using Mem0 to power the AI coach, remembering a worker's weak points and style preferences across multiple practice submissions. When designing a memory loop for learning, how do you prevent temporary learning mistakes from permanently skewing the memory layer once the worker actually gets qualified and starts improving? How do you programmatically decay or override those novice memories?
So for that, we have something called temporal decay that we recently implemented in our latest algorithm, and that helps you exactly with this only thing that you're suggesting me, that what exactly you want like the end product to be, like the what should be the exactly last output be?
It should remember the mistakes that are committed by a worker as far as he is continuing to make those mistakes. Once he has learned and stopped making those mistakes in the projects that he's working on, then it should immediately forget that memory or take some time and then forget that memory.
Okay, so for that as well, we initially used to do that. I've also given you an example for that, V1 and V2. That helps a lot, but now when we switched to a new algorithm, we were doing only addition to the memory, appending to the memory only. But you can do it after a certain amount of time. That depends on you as a platform owner, because if we do at our own end and there is some kind of crucial information in your previous ads, or it gets like overwritten, then sometimes the information gets lost, right? So if maybe in the further course of time you want to know like how the person evolved or how the person performed, you won't have any data. The data would be gone, right? So I think that having append only helps a lot, but it should depend on you as like a platform owner to decide when you want to delete that whole data. Maybe the person doesn't work with you anymore, delete. Maybe the person has improved, but after maybe some time the person is no longer working in the same domain, and once you put him in the same domain after some time, he does even worse, right? So you won't have any track of the trajectory of that. That's why you need memory to keep a track as well. Otherwise there is no fun of having like that, how your payrolls actually go out as well. That is based on your performance. This can be actually used as a performance as well, because yeah, that may be a case that one person is doing that way, but there will be another place that maybe multiple people are doing that way. How would you judge then, right? So I think that currently keep it to yourself on the platform basis. But of course, as the new changes come into memory and the memory domain, because this is such a domain that is very new nowadays. This is not a domain that that has been like cracked, like fully cracked. People are still working. There are certain papers, or maybe you should look into some memory related papers. Recently there were some good papers at ICML. If you can look around them and find a solution to that as well, you can find a solution and maybe publish your own paper, right?
I hope that
Yes,
answers.
ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, if I won the hackathon, is incubation support in terms of, sorry, I am not the person for that.
Yeah, we will be providing everything. Don't worry, Angel. Yeah, thanks, Aashi, like for the wonderful session, and I hope every builder get the insight how to integrate Mem0 in their projects and to implement better. And if they have any questions, so we'll reach out to you as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
So thank you everyone. I hope you enjoy this hackathon and you build some really cool projects. And if you seem to build something good, you can tag us on our Twitter. I'll just share the Twitter link as well, because we love to see people using Mem0 and building really good stuff with it. So yeah, if any of you gets to do something really good, maybe you can get like full-time opportunities. Why not? Our CEO loves to look for people who are very much driven, who build stuff, who build really crazy good stuff. They hire them like anything. So yeah, why not? Just tag us with your best projects. Maybe add some videos, add some images, what you've built with the description, and share them out. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks,
Thank
Asi.
you. Thank you, Aashi.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Bye. Good night.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. Take care. Yeah, Aryan and team can share that 5 best.
Yeah. So this is day 5, right? And yeah, Kapil, is my screen visible to you, right?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah. So this is day 5 progress the builders has shared. So you shout out to Nancy. Not able to. Kapil, can you
Ashwin.
pronounce?
Ashwin.
Ramya and Bhamek.
Bhuvnesh.
Yeah, you shout out to you guys. And
And
I hope
Bhuvnesh.
you got a lot of insights with this session as well, and how to integrate Mem0 in your projects. And if you have any doubts still, then reach out to Right Medium, like over WhatsApp group, or you can reach out to us directly as well as a personal message if you want. Yeah.
I have to share one interesting things about the Nancy post. So yesterday
Yeah.
Nancy shared about like this hackathon, and the founder and CTO of Gani I shared repost her post about particularly Gani session. So it's a great about Nancy also, and also for like organizer like us. So that's why
Yeah.
we say all those participants who like join the meet in a daily basis, because the way you share your learning, and like you can get anything, like the way like the partner also can share, partner founder also can repost all these things, so it gets attractive thing also for you. Okay. So
Yes. Yes.
yesterday we shared about the MVP and the pitch deck points, and if you have any query related to that, you can also ask, because submission time has ended at 12 p.m. today itself, and the 19th would be the final submission. So we shared according to that, and we have left only 3 days, and hope you guys are building the great product. I see people are tagging on a build an AI for India. Would love to see more posts regarding this session, and also you can share about what you guys are building. And also, as Asi shared, that you can tag in the Mem0 Twitter account, whether in Twitter or LinkedIn. So if anything left from our end side, would love, if you want to add.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. So, just like you guys posting on LinkedIn, so I would highly suggest if you can make it on Twitter as well, so that you can build your reach there as well. Because LinkedIn is just not only the social media platform. So just expand your reach, expand your growth, expand your learning. Okay, across social media platforms, and just tag us as well. At the rate Billion AI for India, and whatever session looks like, and your project progress. Okay. Twitter plus. Okay. Have you posted Akshara yet? We haven't seen, I think. Uh, okay. Okay.
Okay, sorry Akshara, if we were not able to showcase your particularly Twitter post. From
Yeah.
tomorrow, we will take
From
also
next day
top
we'll
5 posts from
make
Twitter
it
as
like
well.
mixed. Yeah. Yeah. Sure. So Kapil, sorry to interrupt. I was just saying we will keep it like mixed, like Twitter as well and the LinkedIn
Yeah,
from
for sure,
next
for sure.
day.
It's a mix
Yeah.
of, we can do like 7 and 8 posts, some posts from LinkedIn and some posts from
Yeah.
Twitter as well. Okay,
Okay,
guys,
guys.
we have just 3 minutes. Any question remaining? Yeah, so seeing a lot of posts getting good, like you guys are really putting great insights. So it's totally up to you, whatever the learning and insights you are getting, you can just put in your words. That's because that makes you more creative. Okay, so that's the reason, because we want to share about the session and also about tagging and make more reach yourself and also to give us. So that's what makes you interesting about this sharing daily session in your particular social media.
Yes. Any doubts? As we have 2 minutes more. Any doubts? Any queries, if you guys? I saw one question which I find very interesting. If I want the hackathon, incubation support, internships, networking opportunity, so we are creating ecosystem, right? And you are getting everything right away, even though you're not winning, won the hackathon, right? So we want to make sure every day you will be learning a lot, and you implementing in your projects, and you win every day, not just for hackathon. Okay, if you progress on everyday basis, like at the end you will win. So it doesn't mean like you want to have an hackathon, you then only you will get the opportunity. We make it everyone who is serious all around to building their project into startup, or their project into different thing, so we'll happy to guide up and mentorship. So don't worry on that behalf, like everything is there. Yeah, last
And
2 minutes.
also, in line is we are here to help from idea level to startup level. Okay, from the mid journey, we will give and try whatever we can do with our particularly idea and hackathon. Whoever wins the particularly hackathons of building AI for India, whether the guy who does not, but if we like their particularly projects, we would also go with them. Okay, it's not just like those who are the winner. Okay, so we are building whole ecosystem as our shared about.
Yeah, we see the passion behind about a project and problem you want to solve. If you are passionate about a problem which needs to solve, we are happy to help. We are happy to provide everything which you required. So that's the initiative which we have taken. I asked for demo submission, which we have submitted. Okay, okay. So once the deadline will be passed, we will be reviewing every submission, and we'll try to share the review and the feedback for it. But at the end,
Be in the WhatsApp group, and we, as we have been sharing all the things from the day one, we will share according to that, as we shared about the credit trends, all FAQ assistant. So each and everything will be shared in the WhatsApp group itself. Don't worry about anything. Okay, we will cover each and everything, and we are here to help you in every moment. Okay. So, like Aryan, it's time to wrap up the session because it's been 8:31. So, last word from your side, or like it's like thank you guys for coming and joining the session. Share your learnings in your
Thank you
particular
guys. See you
institute.
tomorrow, day 6. Okay. Bye.
Yeah, yeah. Bye, bye, guys. Take care.